Proteins are made of long chains of amino acids, and when two amino acids react, they form something known as a dipeptide. Well, you may remember that when two smaller molecules react to form a larger molecule as well as a molecule of water, that's known as a condensation reaction, and we've seen them in previous chapters. When an amino acid reacts with another amino acid, it is always the carboxylate end of one amino acid reacting with the protonated amine end of a different amino acid. Two hydrogens from the protonated amine form bonds with an oxygen from the carboxylate to form a water molecule and a dipeptide. And the dipeptide is connected through what's known as an amide bond, an amide functional group, and it's also known as a peptide bond. So an amide is a carbonyl carbon, this carbon double bonded to the oxygen, that is also singly bonded to an amine group, or that nitrogen. In a dipeptide, there is still a protonated amine functionality as well as a carboxylate group. The dipeptide is always written so the protonated amine is on the left-hand side, and that's known as the N-terminus or N-terminal. On the other end, the carboxylate is known as the C-terminus or the C-terminal, and that is always written on the right-hand side. So we see this dipeptide is formed from alanine and valine. The N-terminus side comes from alanine, and the C-terminus side comes from valine. We can signify or designate or write this dipeptide using the three-letter abbreviations of each amino acid or the one-letter abbreviation, but it's really important that the order is the same. The N-terminus amino acid is always written on the left, and the C-terminus is always written on the right. Also want to point out this amide functionality, or this peptide bond, where we have the carbonyl carbon bonded to the nitrogen. That carbonyl carbon came from the carboxylate group of alanine, and this nitrogen in the amide group, or the peptide bond, came from the protonated amine of valine. Dipeptides can be formed from any two amino acids, and they're the smallest type of peptide. As I mentioned earlier, order is very important, and when we write out the order, we always make sure that the N-terminus is on the left side and the C-terminus is on the right side. Additional amino acids can be added to a dipeptide through additional condensation reactions, and a compound with 3 amino acids is known as a tripeptide. If there are 4 amino acids, it's known as a tetrapeptide. As the number of amino acids increases, the compound is referred to as a polypeptide, and a biologically active polypeptide containing 50 or more amino acids is known as a protein.